Hi guys, I'm back to read chapter 11 of The Skin I'm In With You. In chapter 10, we took this slight detour to where Malika was describing her mom. But we're remembering, if we go back to chapter 9, that she was having this little bit of change within her in that she had slightly more self-confidence, but the kids were still making fun of her at school. She had stormed out of the bathroom, and I asked you to predict what would happen next. Well, today we find her back at school, so remember, think back to what your prediction was, remember it, and let's see if you were right or not. As we continue to read, remember we're tracking how Malika changes throughout these next few chapters. All right, let's go. Chapter 11. McClinton Middle School ain't the kind of place where you want the lunch ladies mad at you. No matter how bad the food looks or smells, you best keep your mouth shut. If you don't, you can end up with hair in your spaghetti, pencil shavings in your pizza, pepper in your milk. Something's got into Charlize today. She acts like them lunch ladies won't cause her no trouble. When she goes through the line, she says the hamburgers look like burnt dog doo-doo. Miss Brown, the lunch lady who's serving, don't say nothing. She just clears her throat and runs her hands through her short gray hair. By the time Charlize gets out the line, there it is, lettuce in her milk. Dried up food on her fork, something indescribable on her hamburger bun. Me and her can't figure out what it is, but we think it used to be alive. I bring my own lunch from home, and I tell Char she can have it. Today, I got a bologna sandwich. Char don't want no part of it. She slams her lunch tray down on the table. The whole place gets quiet. They better give me some decent food, she yells loud enough for all the lunch ladies to hear. Miss Brown just keeps stirring peas and wiping sweat. Move out of my way, Char says to a girl sitting at the table. She don't even give the girl a chance to move before she flicks a handful of them greasy, rock-hard peas in her face and then dares her to say something about it. The girl knows what's good for her. She wipes the slimy pea juice off her chin and moves on. Serves you right, Char says, drying her wet hands on my backpack. Next time she'll get out of my way before I ask. They're gonna give me what I paid for, Char says. She shoves her lunch tray at me so fast it almost slides off the table. Take it back, Malika. Tell him I want another plate. Now! I look at Charlize like she's crazy. They won't take it from me. You know that, Char, I say in a dry, shaky voice. Char doesn't say nothing at first. She just stares at me without blinking for the longest time. Do I have to jack you up right here in front of everybody? She says, slapping one of the twins' 5. I said you could have my bologna sandwich, I say. But Char turns to me with her hands on her hips and a face that says, I know you ain't talking to me. I don't have no choice. I pick up her tray and get back in line. It seems like 20 kids are in front of me. By the time I get to Miss Brown again, my stomach is growling. Miss Brown ain't smiling one little bit when she sees Char's tray. I tell her what the problem is. She says she'll take back the food, only not from me. Char starts yelling at me from way back in the lunchroom. Everybody can hear her. A teacher tells her to shut up, but the teacher can't make Char's eyes stop digging into me. Miss Brown cuts me a break and starts throwing the old food in the trash. I stop her when she gets to the hamburger bun with the stuff on top. Leave it, I say quietly. She looks like she wants to say something else. Then she waves her hand at me, looks at the kid in the line after me, and says, next. Char's yelling, hurry up, Malika! I take the tray with the same old hamburger bun on it over to the side of the cafeteria where the ketchup and mustard packets are. I scrape the yuck off the top of the bun and smear it on the top of Char's hamburger. Then I squeeze ketchup and mustard on the meat and take the whole thing to Char. Char snatches the tray out of my hand. She opens up the hamburger bun and picks up the meat. She puts it to her nose and sniffs it like she does to all her food. Then she drops the burger back on the bun and covers it with the other piece of bread. What? You think she spit on it? Raina asks. Please, just eat so we can go. Char laughs and takes a big bite. Get lost, Malika, she says with her mouth full. I don't ask you questions. I pick up my lunch bag and head for another table with a big grin on my face. I wonder why she's grinning. Think about what just happened. Desda is over in the corner by herself, so I go and sit with her. Soon as I get there, my sandwich falls out of the paper bag and onto the floor. Mama loves salad oil. She thinks it's good for your heart. Sometimes, like today, she gets a little heavy-handed with it and it leaks all over the place. Desda leans down and picks up my sandwich and hands it to me. I wipe off the cellophane with a tissue, unwrap it, and start eating. While my mouth is stuffed with bologna and bread, Caleb comes over and starts telling me how good I look. Oil is oozing out the sides of my mouth as quick as I can wipe it off. Caleb don't seem to notice. He just keeps right on talking. I need to talk to you, Malika, he says, taking a napkin and wiping some oil off my chin. I tell Caleb I've got to talk to him some other time, that me and Desda are going over homework right now. He says he'll talk to me later and heads out of the lunchroom. Charlize stops him before he goes. She's all up in his face. He doesn't pay her no mind. He just keeps on stepping. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if Charlize wants Caleb because she knows he wants me. What a good friend that is, huh? Desda acts like I really meant it what I said about her and me doing homework. She starts asking me if I've done the math homework, which I haven't, of course. But that doesn't stop Desda. She pulls out the homework anyhow and asks me 10,000 questions about the math problems. They are as easy as pie, and I tell her so. Before I know it, I'm doing the work for her. If the homework's so easy, why didn't you do it last night? She wants to know. Don't go there, I say. I worked on them problems for 3 hours straight, Desda says, stuffing chips in her mouth. After that, I finally gave up and started watching TV. Desda's homework paper starts to spot from her greasy fingers. 20 minutes later, we head for the door. Char's still sitting at the front of the cafeteria. Boys are crowded around so that all you can see is them purple shoes of hers and that tight black designer skirt. When she stands up to leave, one boy puts his arms around her waist and whispers something in her ear. She laughs, but you can tell she's faking it. She puts on her sunglasses and walks toward the door with them boys following her like she's a movie star. Before she leaves, she looks over my way and pulls her sunglasses down past her nose so they're leaning on her top lip. She stares me down, then whispers something to one of the twins and keeps on stepping. Ignore her, Desda says. The next thing I know, Razy is coming my way. I wonder what Char said to her. Char wants to know if you've done her math. I reach in my book bag and pull out some papers. Char and them are in a different math class than me. It's a class for kids who don't have a clue what's going on. I hand the homework to Razy. I didn't have time to do the social studies, I say, lying through my teeth. The social studies paper is still in my bag. It's the first time I didn't give Char what she asked for. Did you do mine and my sister's? Rosie wants to know. I hand the other math papers to her. As we leave the lunchroom, Desda says I shouldn't do nothing for them. Yeah, right, I say. So some important stuff happening here. We know about Malika's conflict, and throughout the rising action, we're watching as that conflict is actually rising, going up. It's escalating and getting worse. Except part of the problem is her being teased. And although at first we thought Char might be her ally, someone who's helping her, we've realized now that Char is really in it for herself. A lot of you told me she's selfish, which is true. She does lend Malika clothes, but in return, Malika has got to give her her homework. She's got to do her homework for her. And now we learn she's not even in the same classes as her, so she's doing totally extra homework, not just extra copies of the same homework. We're watching the things that affect Malika, but one of the big things that we're watching right now is how Malika herself is affected. So the question we're talking about is, how is Malika changing in response to her conflict? So think about the things that happened in this chapter. What might be different that we haven't seen before about Malika? I know one thing that I saw is that before she never stood up to Char. She just did what she said. But now we see these little hints of her resisting Char's control. I can think of a few examples here, from not immediately going back for her lunch, to when she did, she left that yucky stuff on the hamburger and still fed it to her and smiled about it, to refusing to give her homework. We're starting to see this little change in Malika, and I don't want you to forget what caused that. All of this is a result of her finding this mirror from her father and remembering that she did like herself back when he was alive. All right, so that's the first question on our Google Classroom assignment. If you would like to respond to that question now, you certainly can. You just need a quotation from chapter 11. So you need to copy a direct sentence from the text or more, and then you need to explain the answer. If you'd like to wait till the end of the video on chapter 12, we definitely see some more changes in Malika, and I can't wait to read chapter 12 with you. Bye, guys.